Remembering in this moment our oneness, knowing that I am, you are, we are the one spirit in action. That the divine flows to and through each one of us in every moment. Realizing that spirit is love. And spirit expresses itself and its love through us, as us. We serve one another. Knowing today is nurturing for each one of us as we hear and really listen to Reverend Diana's message, knowing that the divine flows through her to support us today and every day. Knowing that this time together is a blessing, and each one of you here is a blessing to me. I simply release in gratitude. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
Good morning. Thank you, Shuri.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for coming out in the elements today to be here with us. If you're new here with us online today, my name is Reverend Diana Johnson. I'm the pastor and spiritual director for Mystic Heart Spiritual Center. So we begin our Taizé journey this morning in musical prayer. Welcome home to your mystic heart. Lay aside whatever came before. Let your own intuition start to guide you to heaven's door. Welcome home to your mystic heart. Lay aside star to guide you to heaven's door, to guide you to heaven's door, to guide you to heaven's door. For the month of February, Chris has written a new song. Desire is within me. I give it birth. I give it birth. All that I desire is within me. I give it birth. I give it birth. The love that I desire is within me. I give it birth, I give it birth. The love that I desire is within me. I give it birth, I give it birth.
desire is within me. I give it birth. I give it birth. The peace that I desire is within me. I give it birth. I give it birth. The joy that I desire is within me. I give it birth. I give it birth. The joy that I desire is within me. I give it birth. I give it birth. All that I desire is within me. I give it birth. I give it birth. All that I desire is within me. I give it birth. 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 I give it birth.
Bravo. That's wonderful.
Yay, Chris.
The power of creation is within me and within each one of us. I breathe in the grounding truth of who and whose I am. I feel the presence moving in me and all around me. I am relaxed, at peace, content to simply be. I bring my awareness to my connection with all of life. I see with my inner eye a web of light encircling our beautiful planet and infusing everything on it. I use my power of imaging to see that I am, each one of us is, a point of light in that web. And although it is an image, I know that it points to truth. That every human being, all creatures, big and small, every plant and rock, the sand and the water, the beautiful rain falling outside, all that exists is an intricate and irreplaceable part of one life. The planet that sustains us is spirit expressing, as is everything that exists beyond our beautiful mother. We are one light, one life, literally and absolutely. There is no way that I can ever be separated from life. No way that I can be apart from spirit. And neither can you. Take a moment to see, to feel and know that deep sense of connection. Breathe it in. And breathe it out. As human expressions, we're given the priceless gift of self-reflection. and choice. In gratitude, I accept the responsibility of taking this gift seriously, joyfully. I accept the responsibility of caring for my brothers and sisters, human and otherwise, caring for my surroundings, wherever I happen to be, making an honorable and noble contribution to life, walking lightly on the earth, and leaving the world a little more beautiful than I found it. There is a great transformation underway in our world. And I know that I am, by every thought, intention, word, and action, making a positive contribution to that change. And I'm grateful for the privilege of being alive at this time in our history. We are always viewing our lives through the lens of our own story. Our lives are the stories we are writing through our thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. We are reminded this month of the power of creation, the spiritual power that moves through each of us, the immense power that it gives each of us in our own lives to move from love to service. This may not at first glance seem like an obvious leap. Let's be reminded of the New Thought, Ancient Wisdom definition of love. At the spiritual level, love is the self-expression of the divine into form and experience. God forever giving of itself as all of creation, becoming all that is. And so, made in the image and likeness of the Creator, we too, as human beings, experience love, the desire to give of ourselves to other beings and to our world. When seen through this lens, it becomes clear that love must in time lead to service. Think about the people in our lives, those who are very special to us. Is there not an urge to give of ourselves in service to these beloveds? And what about our pets? And the communities we live in, those we engage with? Is there not a desire to contribute to their lives, to something beyond our own individual lives? This is how we leave a little piece of ourselves behind. And if we are doing so consciously, we leave the world a more beautiful, wholesome, peaceful place. In Buddhist teachings, service to others is a central tenet. It encourages us to give generously, without any selfish motive, and without regret. it tells us that in the giving, we are given a great gift. But that this gift should never be the reason for our charity. His Holiness the Dalai Lama suggests that as he looks at this generation's character and values, he sees three principles that are important to them. To these youngsters, ethics, service to others, and a meaningful life take priority. He calls this a sense of universal responsibility, that we are responsible for all others and for the far-reaching ramifications of everything we do. This is awareness and commitment in action, demanding but vital to our future. Ethics ensures we do no harm. Service is the very practice of helping and protecting other people, society, and the earth, reducing suffering to whatever degree we are able. Ultimately, ethics and service are about leading a meaningful life. This is what we all, young and old, aspire to. In the Christian faith, through the teachings and example of Jesus, we can see a central theme of service. In the stories, he came to earth not to be served, but to serve others, demonstrating humility and love through acts like healing the sick, feeding the hungry, and even washing his disciples' feet, essentially embodying the concept of servant leadership. You may be saying to yourself, but I am no Buddha. I am no Jesus. I am suggesting that each of them would say, yes, you are. You too have the capacity to serve. These things and greater shall you do.
Love is a word that we use to describe many different concepts. Family love, close friendships, romantic love. But we also use it to indicate our strong preferences for foods, sports, movies. And yet when we hear the phrase, God is love, we realize that love, in the spiritual sense, is a power far greater. In the Christian New Testament, the Greek word most often translated as love is agape, meaning benevolence and goodwill. It is also often translated as charity. These days, there's a bit of a condescending tone to that word, but charity originally meant kindness and tolerance in our dealings with other people. Agape is what Reverend Diana referred to before as the unconditional self-givingness of spirit. As a family of spiritual seekers, we have experienced God directly through prayer meditation, and other practices. But what of those whose life circumstances do not allow them the leisure time for religious pursuits? How does Spirit ever reach them? It turns out that God actually does have a heart, hands, feet, and a voice here on earth. In fact, several of them. As expressions of the living God within us, it is our hearts, hands, feet, and voices that bring agape into the physical world. As we answer the call of Spirit, we find that we are the agents of divine mercy on earth. Love is a way of being. It is a power that shines forth brightly when we surrender everything within us that blocks its expression. As we share these 3 minutes of silent meditation this morning, I invite us to think of a time when we felt we wanted to help another, but something stopped us. Fear or embarrassment. Maybe we felt powerless to even make a difference. Let us contemplate those things that impede the flow of spiritual love through us and sacrifice them on God's altar. Holy Spirit, divine love that permeates all of creation, thank you for this sacred time of inspiration and illumination, for this deep communion with you and with my beloved community. May we always remember that we are your hands and feet in this world, and may we never forget that we are your angels of mercy. St. Paul wrote of faith, hope, and agape. His conclusion was that the greatest of these is agape. Divine love excludes no one, denies no one, sees every being as a sacred expression of spirit. Agape reminds us that we are the way mercy enters our world. It is a mandate to relieve suffering in any way we can. We return now to Reverend Diana's inspired wisdom, grateful for the encouragement to be who we really are, instruments of divine love, and for the courage to move forward from love to service.
Once upon a time, an angel was asked, "Please show me heaven and hell." First, the angel presented a room with a large round table and a pot of stew in the middle. It smelled delicious. But the people sitting around the table were thin and sickly. They were holding spoons with very long handles, and all could reach into the pot of stew and take a spoonful. But because the handles were longer than their arms, they couldn't get the spoons back to their mouths. So they were starving. The angel said, "This is hell." Then the angel presented another room, which also had a large round table and a pot of stew in the middle. The people there had the same long-handled spoons, but they were well nourished and plump, laughing and talking. The angel said, "This is heaven. These people feed each other, while those who insist on doing it all on their own starve." We've been raised in this American culture, taught to be independent, rugged individualists. But the reality is, if you're living in society, no matter how rugged and independent you think you are, you still depend entirely on others to survive. To grow your food, make your clothes, or other things, tools, automobiles, homes. No one is an island. Because we live in society, in an enormous community, we all have long-handled spoons with which we feed each other. We can't survive otherwise. I suggest it is time to acknowledge this truth and to find ways to serve. Others are giving to us. It's time to give back. We may already be doing so. It is our nature, after all, to love, to serve, and to remember.
taken birth. Why have you come to love, to serve and remember, to love, to serve and remember, why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, to serve and remember, to love, to serve and remember? Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, to serve and remember, to love, to serve and remember, to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember, love, serve and remember, love, serve and remember, love, serve and remember, love, serve and
Let's close in prayer. Right here in this sacred moment, I know that there is one life forever unfolding. This is the life of spirit, and it is expressing itself as all of our creation, everything that is, as each one of us, all that we see, all that is unseen, all that is known and that which will never be known. This one life, this one power, fills and enlivens us. We have the capacity to consciously give direction and form to this power. So I know for each one of us as we go about our week, we keep at the forefront of our minds the love of spirit, and we seek to listen for guidance as to how we are to take that love so that we might be in service in the world. There is something uniquely given for each of us to do, to be, small or large. As we listen, we are guided. So I give thanks for this time this morning, this time of being reminded of the love that we are, the gifts that we have to offer. I give thanks for all of the blessings of this day, for the life-giving rain that nourishes our earth. I give thanks for the revealing of wholeness in the bodies and lives of all of our beloveds who are seeking prayer this morning. And I trust and know that those prayers are fulfilled. And so I can release this prayer, trusting that it's done its good work and that it is answered in form and experience in the week ahead. We affirm this together by saying, and so it is.
It is.
Amen. So as we close our Taizé meditation, we offer the opportunity this morning for you to share of your financial good in support of the work that we're doing in the world. If you're joining us online, you can find a donate button or an address, mailing address, at mysticheart.org. So as we honor the spiritual practice of circulation, I'd like to share with you one of the most beautiful videos I've seen in a long time to pay tribute to someone who has given so much to all of us. You're welcome. Quite a talent and quite a gift he's given. Quite a gift that you have given in your offerings this morning. I say thank you from the bottom of my heart, knowing that the gifts that are given of your treasure are what keeps our beautiful and safe space open for us. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you to each one. And so it is. So we're going to sing you on your way either to the coffee or teapot or on your way to your day with the soul's blessing.
May your soul always find what it's looking for. May your heart always lead the way. May you live in peace and harmony, and may love always fill your day. May your path be strewn with happiness. May success find you everywhere. May you always embrace compassion and grace, and may God always answer your prayer. May you always embrace compassion and grace, and may God always answer your prayer.
God bless you. Have a beautiful day. There's a new bulletin out with some new things coming up, so take a look.
We weren't up here. Just knowing that Spirit is that divinity in action through each one of us. And that as we realize and remember who and whose we are, the oneness, the love, we share that with others. We serve one another. We look for how we can be of use in the world, to share our gifts, to share our talents, to share our treasure as we express that love. So today I know that each one of us, as we listen, as we speak to one another and hear that wisdom that's always in the room, the divine expressing through and as each one of us, we hear exactly what we came for. Even just that tiny new idea of how we can show up in the world more loving, more joyful, more free. So I release this prayer knowing a prayer spoken is a prayer answered and already unfolding. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Cherie. Beautiful prayer. Good morning, welcome or welcome back. Looks like it's some welcome and some welcome back. If you're new with us online this morning, I'm Reverend Diana Johnson, Pastor and Spiritual Director for Mystic Heart Spiritual Center. We're an independent interfaith community, and we teach universal principles and practical spirituality. So it is my sincere hope that something you hear this morning will lead you inward to the wisdom and guidance of your own mystic heart. So let's get our conversation started by joining our voices in song, and giving our bodies a chance to wake up if they're not awake already.
Welcome to your mystic heart. Join the celebration. Lift your voice and sing your part. Make this affirmation. Spirit made us family with loving hearts to share. Together we are joyfully practicing the possible through prayer. And everything's possible through prayer. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
Woohoo! All right, you guys watch the lyrics. They're a little different.
Oh, I love this.
I thought God was only true in fairy tales, meant for someone else and not for me. Life was out to get me, that's the way it seemed. Disappointment haunted all my dreams. Then I felt your grace, now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. God is love. Ooh, I'm a believer. I couldn't leave you if I tried. I thought life was more or less a given thing. See, the more I gave, the less I got. What's the use of trying? Do-do-do-do, all you get is pain. Do-do-do-do, when I needed sunshine, I got rain. Then I felt your grace, now I'm a believer.
boogie.
London guy, all you get is pain. When I needed sunshine, I got rain.
Then I felt your grace. Now I'm a believer, not a trace of doubt in my mind. God is love. Oh, I'm a believer, I couldn't leave you. God is love. Oh, I'm a believer, I couldn't leave you. God is love. Oh, I'm a believer, I couldn't leave you if I tried.
I'm glad you brought that back. I love that song.
All right. Not a good energy.
Is that a February song?
That's a February
I love
song.
it.
We got it for a few weeks. Everything okay?
Everything's fine.
Okay, cool. My friend Jeff. We're working with some folks to hopefully work him toward the micro shelter. So know with me now, as we engage our bodies in the process of envisioning a love-soaked world. Take a couple of deep breaths. Give your body a chance to feel the presence of the one life moving through each and every one of us. Feel and know with me a world in which all human beings are living from their deepest wisdom, their most generous and loving nature, thoughtful of the impact that their thoughts and words and actions have on one another, on the community, and on the planet. Remembering that every thought, word, and action does have an impact, does leave an imprint. This is a world where all needs are met gracefully and easily because we have learned to live according to our generous nature. We have learned to assume the highest and best in all beings. This is a world where all beings have plenty of nourishing food, warm, comfortable, and affordable housing, a sense of safety and belonging, a world where mental and physical well-being, education, and healthy relationships are ensured by social systems grounded in integrity, wellness, and wholeness, where honesty rules the day.
Amen.
This is a world in which all beings work and play at what feeds the soul and are well compensated for their service, are valued and respected for their inherent goodness, where authenticity and vulnerability are welcomed and celebrated, and where the peace that we cultivate within ourselves shows up as a world free of hatred or violence. Feel and know with me now a world without greed, where generosity is the norm, and where all beings receive all that's needed for a full and contented life. By the power of our collective intention, our powerful imagining, and inspired action, we're writing a new story. We're creating a world that works for all beings. We grant no importance or power to appearances, knowing that transformation is underway here and now. Whatever it may look like, we know that all is always being turned to good. So we walk in gratitude, respect, reverence, and humility, acknowledging the sacred in everyone and everything, planting seeds of peace. It is through our hands, feet, hearts, and voices that positive change is happening as we align our actions with our vision, living these changes in our own lives, with our families, our friends, and our neighbors, remembering that all are our neighbors. This community stands as an open and welcoming place for all who seek support, belonging, and a sense of family. This community redefines church as a place of self-discovery, authenticity, kindness, and love, as we are guided to the truth that lies within every heart. By the creative power of our deep knowing, clear vision, and inspired action, that this prayer is acted upon even as it is spoken. In full acceptance of its reality, and with the deepest gratitude, we release our word to the one letting it go and letting it be, and together we say, and so it is. Amen. Take a moment to feel the good juju. Words are powerful. Imaging is powerful. Visioning is powerful. These are all powerful tools of prayer and creative ways of creating in our world. So, what is our theme for 2025?
Love, I hope.
Okay, through the lens of story. Say who's been listening, yeah. Okay, who has noticed the monthly theme already this first Sunday of February?
Power of creation.
The power of creation. All right. And what has our topic of reflection for this morning been for any who were here?
Service.
Okay.
Love.
From love to service. You are listening. Makes me happy. So if you were here with us at Taizé, how did we define love? Agape love.
Love and service.
Okay. Love and service. What did we call divine? What did we say about the highest form of love?
To be in service to others.
Okay. So we said that divine love is the self-givingness of spirit. Its eternal nature of self-givingness, becoming all of creation, forever unfolding and becoming. And that we as humans, made in the image and likeness of that, also have that drive, that urge, that capacity to give of ourselves to other beings in all kinds of ways. We said that when seen through this lens, it becomes really clear that love naturally leads to service. If it's about self-givingness, then that is service. We reflected on those we love, friends and family, partners, pets, and communities. And we said that by giving to our beloveds, we leave a little piece of ourselves behind. We're imprinted in the lives of other people and on our world. We give of ourselves, but not so that we'll get something in return. That's not pure service. Although often we do get things in return, but that shouldn't be that. If it's pure service, it's not in order to get that we give. Okay, so think for a moment. Who are the people in your life or in our world that you admire because of their service? Could be people that are alive or dead, people that you know personally or don't. Who are some of those people? Amy?
All of you here at Mystic Heart.
Nice.
You, Diana.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much.
My husband, John.
John. All right.
Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson. Mhm. Anybody else?
My father.
Your father. Oh, beautiful.
Martin Luther King Jr. comes to mind this time of
Martin
year.
Luther King Jr. this time of year. Yes,
Gandhi.
Gandhi,
Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa,
Jesus.
Jesus. So what are the qualities in these people? Oh, go ahead, Pete.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Leonardo da Vinci. Very good.
Very
Yes.
nice, creative.
Yeah. So what are the qualities that these people have that you admire? What is it that makes them admirable? What are some of those qualities?
Compassion, generosity, and to be in service to humanity.
Okay, so compassion, generosity, and service.
Inherent qualities, yeah.
Courage and humility.
Courage, humility,
Love.
love. What about Da Vinci? What qualities does Da Vinci have?
Studying, I should say.
Okay, so love of studying, learning, growing.
Yeah,
How about creativity?
yeah.
Yeah. Brilliance.
Sharing his talent.
Sharing, so generosity,
Curiosity.
curiosity. Nice. So if you can see and admire these qualities in others, what does that mean about you?
You've got to have it in yourself in order to see it in others.
You have to have that capacity within yourself to be able to even recognize it in other people.
It's like an old physics experiment we used to do with two tuning forks that are the same pitch. And you hit one of them and hold it next to the other one, and then you silence the first one. And the second one is ringing now because it resonated with the first one. And it's the same, it's a metaphor for the same thing. We can't resonate within us unless
Right.
we have a tuning fork in that key within us.
Yeah. So breathe that in a minute. What does that mean about you? You have all of these capacities within yourself. They're inherent. You're creative, you're curious, you're compassionate, you're loving. It's at least there in potential, even if you haven't recognized it so far in your life. The deep compassion of Gandhi, the deep passion for a cause of Martin Luther King Jr., the deep love and compassion of Mother Teresa. These people that we say, yeah, but I'm not that. Said in the Taizé, I'm not Buddha, I'm not Jesus. They would beg to differ with you. They would say only by choice are we not that. We can choose otherwise because the capacity is within us. So why do some people show forth these qualities and other people don't?
You know, I had a thought about how, you know, these examples that are given are these famous people.
Some of them are.
Many of them.
You're famous.
I almost actually left myself out by intentionally did. Often these famous people. And in this culture where we are so connected to people so far away, people we don't know. We know about somebody who doesn't know about us. It creates a stardom
Right,
that seems almost unattainable.
yeah,
I could never be that. Well, I'm too distracted by watching it to even try to become my
Right.
potential of it.
right,
So,
yeah. I thought it was beautiful, but the first thing that showed up here was each other. We're engaged with each other's life. But yeah, we can be so distracted. That can get in the way of us becoming our highest and best because we fill our time with looking outside of ourselves.
Well, so it was that unattainability of that level of
Right.
person.
Yeah,
That's what I was speaking specifically to.
yeah,
Not just the distraction of like, it's this famous individual who I
Right.
could never become. I could never become Jesus. I could never become
Right.
this thing.
forgetting that we're not supposed to be anything but us
Right.
and bring our unique gifts into the world.
It's
Yeah.
not the star notoriety that counts to be a
Mm.
big part and a big influence on each other's
No.
lives, and to have that level of influence on each other
Right,
as, as much, more than a star, really.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's the physical presence and contribution and exchange
Yeah.
and that is really the most important thing in our lives, and that stardom is just a bewildering distraction,
Yeah.
it's great to think about, but ultimately, like, we need to recognize more that,
right,
people around us are primary.
yeah. And those people, the
Stars in our
ones we
lives.
talked about here, the Gandhis, the Mother Teresa's, Martin Luther King, they weren't doing this for stardom and notoriety.
Absolutely.
That was not the motivation. The motivation was to be their best selves and do all they could in the world while they were here. And most of them were taken out for it, gave their lives for it. So they weren't trying to be stars. They were just trying to make the impact that they were here to make.
Is it possible that there was no conscious motivation on their part, but they were so connected to spirit that that's what came through them?
Yes, I
mean,
believe
that's-
that
yeah.
must be true.
Yeah.
I'm listening to another new book, surprise, surprise, by Bishop Buddy, that was recently in the news. But this is about finding your own bravery. And she was talking in the very first chapter about the very first time that she heard that. That it wasn't audible, but it was, she heard, in her words, because she's an Episcopalian bishop, she heard God speak directly to her heart about something she had to do. And I think that that's what happens with these people. I've experienced that speaking to the heart of something difficult, and many of us probably have. But I think that those people probably were speaking to an internal calling, whatever you want to call it, spirit, the universe, the divine urge, calling us to a particular thing that's ours to do. And so, yeah, not for notoriety, not for just, this is mine to do. Chris?
I'm reminded of our friend Reverend Katie Schwartz over at St. James
Yeah.
Lutheran. And she was asked why she started this project that's now known as Goodwater Crossing Micro Shelters. And she said, I was in prayer and I was convicted to do this.
That's a strong word.
It's a strong word. It's just, God told me to do this and I could not say no.
Couldn't
So
say no.
I think Michael was spot on with that.
Yeah.
I think some of us get that kind of calling and
Yeah,
clear the decks.
and it's frightening, and it's, but you gotta do it. So what else gets in the way of us some people step into that, so some are hearing a calling and some are not. So those who maybe don't feel called to a particular thing, what are some of the qualities that get in our way of shining forth our highest and best?
Low self-esteem.
Fear, low self-esteem.
I think our society lionizes celebrities, famous people so much that we immediately go to the Jesuses, the Buddhas,
Right.
the Martin Luther Kings, the Gandhis, and we say, I can't do what they did. I'm
Right.
not them. And what I can do won't make a difference anyway. It's just,
Yeah.
it's so minimal. But it does make a difference.
It does make a difference. That's really the thing that makes the most difference, is the little things, like Lori was saying, that we do in our immediate circles that ripple out. They do make an impact.
We are all puzzle pieces,
Right.
and without one of us, the puzzle is not
It's
complete.
incomplete.
Yes.
Yeah. So what it is that gets in our way is the stories that we tell ourselves about ourselves. Right? The things we've been told about ourselves that we've now adopted as truth. Whether we were told by family or in school or other adults in our lives or society in general. They're stories we tell ourselves. So fear, I heard, gets in the way. How about playing small? Because you're kind of afraid to be any bigger. I could never be the Buddha or the Jesus or whatever, so I play small.
Hiding our light under the bushel.
Hiding our light. Because we all have a light to shine. Should I say this? It's on the paper.
Yes, you should.
Laziness.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes, huh?
It's a
You
real
know, it's a,
human thing.
it's a human quality. It is.
It's a real.
It is.
Not with,
It's an American quality.
It's an American quality. Did she say that? Yes. Yes. Great.
It's an organism quality.
It's an organism quality.
Yes, very good.
Cycles of rest are good for organisms. I'm not saying we shouldn't rest. I did that this week.
forget what I was gonna say.
Okay, it'll be back.
I have something.
Yes, ma'am.
I think we confuse sometimes the qualities that were needed for survival, maybe like safety,
Uh-huh.
and then we apply that to current, which
Right.
it's not. There's not a need to protect self,
Right, there
at
are
least
no
to that
lions.
degree. Yeah,
No lions here chasing you.
Yeah. And, we needed to look for food and make sure,
Right.
and now we're like, oh, I think I need to get mine and, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Self-preservation.
Yeah.
That brought it back, actually, yeah, that's what I was gonna
Yes.
say, was that social preservation.
Uh-huh.
It's a
Yeah.
fear and a laziness. It's I don't want to step outside of the social norm, become
Right.
a target,
Yeah.
so I'm afraid of it, and it takes that courage. So like they all kind of morph together as far as
Right.
fear and lazy and all that. It's like it's just not worth the effort to
Yeah.
have to stand up and say that.
Right.
I've seen the martyrs in the past.
Uh-huh. I don't want to be shot down or hung up. I understand.
Yeah.
So, we're taking some time to trace some of our least favorite and not true qualities back to their source. And we find out that they're not even our stories. That's the thing. We don't actually believe these things about ourselves. Do we? Do we believe that we have no compassion? Do we believe that we have no creative ability to contribute somewhere? Do we really in our heart of hearts believe that about ourselves?
No.
Not anymore.
Most of us don't anymore. If you're sitting here, chances
Yeah.
are you don't anymore, even if at once you did. Chris?
But that doesn't mean it's all gone either.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It puts an upper limit on what we feel
Yes.
that we can achieve.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing. We're working through that perceived limit that we have, looking for what is ours to do.
In the class I'm taking with you, the shadow work,
Uh-huh.
today I was looking at stupid. And I always really thought I was stupid. And then it asked, I was listening to the TV, her reading it, and she goes, "Where's the first time you heard it?" "From my mother, from my teachers." "So is that really what I am?" And I realized, no. And that was an enlightening moment.
Yeah,
That it was really there saying you're you,
Right.
and I just accepted it.
right.
And it was a lie.
Yeah. So in that vein, what do a lot of people do? Probably all of us have at some point, or maybe not, but many of us have. I know I have in my younger years. What do we do to lift ourselves up?
Bucket dipper.
Huh?
Bucket dipping. That's what they taught the
Bucket
kids.
dipping?
Taught the kids at school. You're dipping out of somebody else's bucket.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
like, yeah, belittling other people. to
So
make yourself
belittling
feel
other people,
better.
putting other people down.
Yeah, you think you're gonna feel better,
She's
but
never been a bucket dipper.
it's an illusion.
Yeah,
It's so rude.
the truth is
Can't let other people do
that it's not true. First of all, it doesn't lift us up to put someone else down. It only makes us really feel less inside because we know better. The truth is we're all divine creations of spirit. Each one of us contains and is a conduit for the power of spirit, made in the image and likeness of the source. And that's a big responsibility. That's a big responsibility. So I guess the question is, what are we going to do with this power that we've been given? What are we going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Love, serve, and remember.
Yeah.
Just like the song.
Just like the song.
Be the absolute best person we can be at all times.
So be the best person we can be. Sometimes, in some moments, it may not look good, but it is the best that we can be. As long as that's in our minds and our hearts.
It's important to remember too, like Don Miguel says, your best is different on any given day or at any given
Right.
time. Because,
Yes.
your biorhythms and all that, everything's in flux. So
Mhm.
my best today might be not as good as it will be tomorrow or better.
Coffee wears off.
That's funny. So what about this power we've been given? Do we want to learn how it works?
Yes.
That'd be handy.
Indeed.
It would be handy, wouldn't it? Because it's working all the time.
I lost
And
my owner's manual.
Yeah,
What owner's manual?
yeah.
Oh, what is that one?
We can't use it consciously for good until we kind of understand how it works and that it's always at work. It never stops working. So it behooves us maybe to learn sort of how it works.
Toolbox.
Yeah.
Putting tools in your box so you can use them.
So there's another favorite author named Carolyn Mason. She says,
Awesome.
the darkest part of human nature exists simultaneously with the lightest. The idea that one must completely conquer the dark side in order to reach the light is itself an erroneous way of viewing human nature. Both coexist, with one always working with or through the other. Every choice we make carries profound creative consequences. We are remarkable agents of creation. With that in mind, I want to help you understand that every choice you make in life sets profound creative consequences in motion. Ow! Every choice. She says there are profound shifts that we think are happening out there because they're happening in here. We are the engines of everything happening around us, individually or collectively. Every thought you have, every word you say, and every action you initiate in some way influences the world around you. You are more powerful than can be measured, and that power comes from your soul. She's a dynamite teacher. I like her stuff. What do you think about that?
I think it needs to be on the news.
I think it needs to be on the news too.
Indeed.
Yes, could replace some of the other things.
Thoughts.
That are there.
All thoughts.
All of the
Yes,
other
thank you. Every single little thing.
Yeah,
This should be
except
taught in school.
it should be. Except I have seen some very empowering things lately because that's what I look for. I don't go the other places. But yeah, it's very empowering, Miley.
I would say like earlier in the week, Monday or Tuesday, it just started feeling really heavy. Like a lot of people at my work have been sick. April and has said several friends have reached out to her and they're feeling really down and she was really sick and the energy in her house was like just really low this week and we were sitting around on the couch like watching shows and just generally kind of like grumpy and a little bit feisty with each other. And I think like we started talking about how energy is really transferable and like the collective energy seems really heavy and really like huge. And when we look at, like you were saying earlier about like people like Jesus, where it's like, oh, they had so much influence.
Right.
What maybe we're not understanding is how powerful energy is when it's transferred and it gets larger and larger. So we had like a little dance party, just our family at home, and we put on some music, and it's hard to get into. It's like the kids are playing video games, and everybody doesn't want to get off the couch. But then it just got more and more and more, and the energy really came up. And like 5 hours later, the next day we were like, everybody was like, oh, we feel so much better. We feel so much lighter. And I think that when one person looks really influential, we don't realize that we have the power to transfer that to other people, and then together we can build the energy and bring it up. And the collective doesn't seem so heavy.
And I invite you, excuse me, came up out of nowhere. I invite you to notice collectively the negativity that has been present in the last week or two. I am pretty healthy for the most part, and the energies took me down. You know, a lot of our community right now, I'm not so much a germ theorist, although I realize that that's in our physical bodies, that's how we pass things, that's how we're built. But I also think there's a higher power at work, and that the collective energies can really, really impact us. And in being there a support for so many who are having so much trouble the last couple of weeks, I had to finally stop. Goodness.
I find that that dip in our personal energy, I guess, makes us more vulnerable to germ theory or whatever, whatever relative level things. But I think when we're on a roll spiritually, I think our immune system knows it and just plows right through.
So in the book of John, Jesus says, speaking of Jesus, believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me, or else believe me for the very work's sake. In other words, believe in the power that moves through me because you can see what I'm capable of, or what the power moving through is capable of. He was never speaking for himself as a person, I don't believe. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do. This is the truth, that he believes in the power, he believed in the power of the Christ consciousness, whatever we want to call that, the power of spirit, the great mystery, moving through. And that's what does the works through us when we open ourselves to it. And whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that will I do. Boy, that, I believe, has been misinterpreted. But my interpretation is that whatever you ask, claiming and knowing your own divine nature, that will be done. When you're really grounded in your own divine nature, that will be done. how's that feel to you guys? All of that around power, spiritual power, energy moving, positive or negative energy. Am I off? Whoops. Sorry. Thanks. I turned it off when I coughed.
Wow. What was I gonna say? That leveling up moment that maybe comes from a time of challenge, whether it's a physical illness or anything, right? A physical, financial, emotional situation. It's often a leveling up moment. It's that growth through struggle.
Right.
That we want to endeavor as spiritual learners, teachers, whatever, to feel like we're beyond.
Right.
But then, hey, it shows up. And I say, oh, okay, this is my humility moment. This is my what's mine to learn moment.
Yeah.
And so I generally try to embrace it as much as I can.
Absolutely. Definitely a surrender moment.
Right, surrender. What am I missing? That's what I mean by the leveling up. Like, okay, what did I miss? I thought I was good.
Yeah.
Here's this challenge.
Right.
So it's like the learning tool.
Yeah.
So often, as much as it doesn't happen. It seems
That's
to be
true. I see it that way too. No? It's true.
I think it's really empowering to know that we all have that. We were born with that. We can call on that at any moment, in every moment, that we're not alone.
Yeah.
You know, that we support each other by being that divine substance on earth. And we're always at choice.
Right.
Whether to use that.
Yeah. It's true. I was at Choice on Thursday night. I was here teaching till 9. Not a sign of anything going on in my body. Except at the very end of class, I said, oh, I have a frog in my throat. Not a pain, just a frog in my throat. By that night, I was down with a fever. Just all that night, all the next day I slept. But I went to that place of surrender. It's like, I'm not going to get all, hoity-toity and push through. Why would I do that? That's silly. So I canceled everything I had Friday night, Saturday. And just slept and fasted and prayed and knew that I'd be here Sunday. That's what I knew. Didn't know how, but I knew I'd be here healthy enough to be here and not contagious on Sunday. Chris?
Yeah, that's, it's in our language that we're fighting a cold, we're fighting a fever, we're fighting illness. We have to surrender to it. It has taken up lodging in our bodies. We have to just surrender it and let it go through. Because when we fight it and resist it, it just hangs on.
Yeah. We're in this culture of fighting everything. War on poverty, war on drugs. And we fight our bodies and
This has come to pass.
It came to pass. Yes. Let it move through. Thank you for your service in reminding me that I'm human and that I need to settle down a little bit with my activity and then be on your way. Thank you.
And fast from the news.
Oh, yeah, I haven't, I don't, yeah.
It's our manual upgrade.
Right,
That's
yes.
what I was gonna say, it's that collective energy, though, to come back to that, and what Miley was saying, is these energies and how, when we're maybe overly consuming certain things or just overly presented with certain things and having to stay grounded, sometimes it's that moment of surrender that has to just release, surrender and give up.
Yes.
Say, all those problems that I've been brought to me this week, this month, I don't know.
Right.
I know I don't feel good right now.
Right.
So
It's not
turn off my
mine.
phone.
I'm going to bed. Right. That's it.
Yeah, I went to my girlfriend's house, and she started telling me all the things that were happening in the government, and by the time I left, I was shaking. Because I don't listen to the news. Everything she told me, I had no clue about, don't want to know. But she wanted to vent, I guess I got it. But anyway, so now I realize I can just say, hey, I don't want to hear it.
Right.
honor myself.
Yeah.
Even though I love her, I really don't want to know about that stuff because it
Right.
just puts me in fear.
Yeah.
And I can't change it other than for myself having peace.
Right. Yeah.
Then I can change
Yeah.
it from inside out.
Yeah. Who am I gonna be in this world?
Right.
To impact those people around me. That's my influence.
And that can be very moment by moment, what
Mhm.
is needed right now.
Yeah.
I was at my retreat for my vocation, my job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was in the evening, and there was my team leader and I in the kitchen making food. And he's like, I think this person in the room, that she's in her room, I think she just may have got a bad phone call. So we kind of waited for her to come out. And yeah, she was upset. It's like, what's going on? And she goes, well, my son that's in a car race just rolled his car 4 times. And I'm waiting now to know what his status is. And my team leader says, well, in times like these, you know, there's you can't really control it, you know, just pray, you know. And I had to be courageous in that moment, because here it is, my work, you know, and they all know that I'm a practitioner, but you know, and I said, well, that is my other vocation or calling, and I pray with people. Would you like me to do that now with you? And she said yes. And so my team leader and her and I came together in this huge kitchen and then made this tiny circle. And we prayed, and I prayed for, you know, for Trevor, and that the paramedics and everything, that everyone around him were working in his best, and that Spirit was surrounding him and guarding him, and there was this really nice, just general, like, calming.
Right.
And as soon as I said amen, her phone pinged. And she looked at it and she goes, Trevor's okay. And she saw, he just says his balls hurt. And I'm sorry to say this for the people on the recording or whatever, that it's out in the sphere, but I was like, oh, I should have said Spirit was surrounding his balls. Like,
That's normally what one says in a prayer.
Right. I'm like, and so she was laughing, I was laughing, but we went, and then the gal that was outside the whole time smoking comes in, and she goes, how are you guys doing? Oh my gosh, you're having fun in here, because we're laughing. And my team leader is like, oh, you don't even know what roller coaster we went through in the last 10 minutes. But it's just like that decision, like, how can I show up? And bravery too, because of not wanting to like impose myself, but also when someone needs it, like, can I be of service in that moment?
Yeah. That's beautiful and funny.
I know.
But when we talked about intention, like her and April intentionally chose to flip the energy at home.
Yeah.
We're going to do this the way we want to do it.
Right.
You're going to take that moment and go, you know, I'll have none of this kind of moment.
Right.
This is what actually it is.
And that is the creative power that we have. When we choose to step into it, we can take any moment and serve for good in a way that can flip things around. In any moment that we remember not to get sucked in. All of the stuff.
Sucked in. That's a good.
We do.
Oh.
You know.
We can.
Sorry. So I remember part of Ernest Holmes talking about how there was a moment in some of his practitioner stuff that there was an individual who was an extreme alcoholic, and he had to remove himself from the presence of that alcoholic to know that alcoholic's pureness.
Right.
So anybody is like, as much as Ernest Holmes says, somebody might call their Jesus, as far as that, enlightened person, even he, as powerful as he was,
Right. Had to
had to remove himself from that energy.
Right.
That energy of it
Yes.
is what it is, and to try to look at something and deny it's there,
Yeah,
it's not so easy for our
right.
cognitive thing, so.
That's true. And sometimes my taking away from my last weekend was I need to work on removing myself before I'm given something that forces me to turn off my phone and go to bed for 2 days.
So would that be called self-care?
Yeah. Called a lot of things.
At a very basic level,
Yeah.
a focus on self-care.
I think it's teaching us a big part of this is that from that place of stress, from that place of low energy, from that place of not stable or supplied, that, that the creative power doesn't flow as well as it could, but it's the moment that we must use that creative power to re-solidify and find that relief and find that stability and find that supply and know that it's there in order to, we're using that creative power in that moment to just get our base solid.
Right,
And then from that base, because I know like when we get into a place of that stress, of that lack, that our creative power doesn't work so well.
Right.
The things we create aren't what we intended and are not what we would choose or want.
Yeah.
But if we can really know that that's happening, we're in that place that we can use that creative power first and to make sure that we're stable.
Yeah.
And then we can apply much more greatly to those around us and to our lives, that creative power that helps change things. But we've got to be aware.
Yeah.
Very aware.
That's true.
Where we're at.
And I have to say that I didn't used to even be aware enough to just stop and know that that's what was happening as I was reestablishing my energy and my base. So I can see growth.
And I feel like Lori's speaking to, her own spiritual practice, her own groundedness. And I was reflecting on that for myself this week later because, I had just had my first cousin die in a fatal car accident on Sunday, and this is 3 days later that I'm supporting someone with someone in an accident. And if I wasn't where I am now in consciousness and how much everyone here has poured into me over the years and mentorship and guidance, I don't think I could have showed up for her.
Right.
Because I wouldn't have had my own fear out of the way to be able to be in that moment.
Yeah. Thank you. Chris?
Lori, I think you made a really good point, but one of the things that I know I do is forget that I'm not the doer. I forget, like you mentioned before, Jesus was always saying, it's not me, it's the Father within me, it's the Spirit coming through me.
Yeah.
And if you pray in my name, if you let the Spirit flow through you uninterrupted, then you can do the same thing. But for me, when I get to thinking that I gotta buck up and do this thing, then I'm blocking the flow, I'm standing on the hose,
Right.
And so it's not flowing through me, and so then my limited finite resources run out,
Yeah.
and I crap out.
Yep. Basically, yes. Is there anything else that wants to be shared this morning before we wrap up?
I think for me, it's always important to remember that I'm always at choice. If I'm having a bad day, if I'm in a bad mood, if my emotions or whatever, if I can just remember, wait a minute, I'm at choice. I don't have to be here. I can change this.
Right.
If I'm in a pissy mood, it's me doing it.
Yeah, I am the only one who can change this.
Exactly.
Yeah. Important to remember. All right, well, let's go ahead and close with just a couple deep breaths. Feeling the creative power moving through us, all around us. Trusting and knowing that by that creative power that moves through us, we are at choice. In every moment. That we can acknowledge whatever energy seems to be swirling in our world or in our lives. We can step out of that place and make another choice. And so we do. We take that with us this week. We notice maybe that others are caught up in world events or other things. And we just shine our light. We just shine our love into the world, allowing that light to enliven us and hopefully bring a sense of peace and a sense of love and a sense of joy into the space wherever we are. I trust and know that this is our power, it is our capacity, and that with conscious awareness, we make this choice. And so grateful for this reminder, for this knowing. I give thanks for each one here today. I give thanks for each one listening, knowing that each one takes something that is useful and pointing each one of us inward to better experience and show forth the truth of who we are. So I release this prayer this morning knowing that it's done its good work, that our time together has set the tone for our week. And I just release it here and now as together we say, and so it is. Amen. Well, thank you for being out here in this weather today, braving it. We're going to go ahead and invite you to join in the celebration of the work that we're doing in the world by sharing of your financial goods should you choose to do so. If you're at home, you can find a donate button or mailing address at mysticheart.org. We're an independent, self-supporting organization, and your financial gifts are what make it possible for us to do our work and provide our beautiful and safe space. So we thank you in advance for your generous and giving hearts. As we engage in this sacred practice this morning, if you were here at Taizé, you got to see a beautiful celebration of the life of Dick Van Dyke, still alive, moving toward year 100. And so we're going to follow up with a scene from Mary Poppins. You never know what you're going to find here.
It's all me bells. Stepping time.
What a
Stepping time.
Stepping time! Stepping time!
Stepping time. Stepping time. Stepping time. Come on, mighty. Stepping time.
Stepping time!
Stepping time. Stepping time. Stepping time. Stepping time. Never need a reason. Never need a rhyme. It's stepping time. It's stepping time. Kick your knees up. Kick your knees up. Stepping time. Kick your knees up. Stepping time. Never need a reason. Never need a rhyme. Kick your knees up. Stepping time. Round the chimney. Round the chimney. Stepping time. Round the chimney. Stepping time. Never need a reason. Never need a rhyme. Round the chimney. Stepping time. Clap like a birdie. Clap like a birdie. Stepping time. Clap like a birdie. Stepping time. Never need a reason. Never need a rhyme. Clap like a birdie. In time. Up for the railing.
Make your elbow take your time. Make your elbow take your time. Make your elbow, make your elbow, make your elbow. Step in time, step in time, step in time, step in time. Every reason, every rhyme, step in time. You step in time.
Mary Poppins, every time. Come on, Mary Poppins.
Ain't she marvelous? Ain't she beautiful? Lovely, tell your mum. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Mary. Hello, Mary, turn it up.
Quite a talent. So I saw that movie when I was 4 in the movie theater when it first came in.
Oh my gosh. Mm. Just thinking about those beautiful pink shoes. And the law of circulation and action. All the energy and creative talent that each of us has and expresses. So grateful for each and every one of you and what you bring to this community. Your time, your treasure, your talent. Knowing that as it comes into our community, it nourishes each one of us. And then it goes back out into Reading, into the greater area. And I don't know how far it goes. It keeps going. Our state, our country, the world. So I'm so grateful for your gifts. They are a blessing. Knowing this is powerful, that my word is power, I simply release. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. And then please stand for our closing song, Love Be With You.
The light, we take a stand and we are changing a whole new life for you and me. Take a fast and set it free and share this blessing. Love be with you, peace enfold you, spirit lift you, breathe it in, truth come through you, make good flow to you, let joy renew you until we meet again. Love be
God bless you. Thank you for being here today. Stay and have some lunch if you want.
It's too wet to leave now.